Now then, welcome to the latest edition of RedArmy.tv. The season hath come to an end. Wow, what a long and hard season it was. Sam Henshaw, Matt Bland in the studio with me, fellas. Thanks for coming in. We'll chew all things season-wise over in but a jiff. But Matt, we'll start with Liverpool. It was always going to be a tricky one, a difficult one, wasn't it, going to Anfield?
Well, definitely. I mean, you say it wasn't going to be an easy game, especially the last game of the season. We had nothing to play for, but we did play well in the first half. Even a bit in the second half, we didn't do too bad. But as the game was going on, you could just see the players were tiring, and they pretty much just had enough, especially where the scoreline went. And
Sam, always hard to play Liverpool, even harder to play them at Anfield. But how much did that Champions League place that they were scrapping for make it even more difficult?
Well, they've been waiting for years, haven't they? They've always been a brilliant team in the Champions League, and they have fought really hard this season. Jurgen Klopp's done a brilliant job. Title contenders at the start of the season as well. But like I said, you said they're brilliant to be in the Champions League. They've worked hard, they've deserved it, and just Boro. That's it.
Didn't do us any favours whatsoever, the fact that they had something to fight for. But we hung on for 44 minutes, Matt. I mean, it was quite nice at that point, just before half-time, thinking they're getting frustrated, and Anfield was going quiet, apart from the Boro fans.
Well, that's it, because obviously the manager was trying to get the crowd pretty much excited and roaring for Liverpool, which they really didn't for most of it. And you could just see that they were kind of being put under pressure by us. But I think if they hadn't scored the first goal, it could have been a completely different game altogether.
And it could have been a completely different game altogether had we been awarded a penalty. Sam, was it or wasn't it?
I'd have said yes. A lot of people I've been talking to and they've said no chance. But was Bamford asking for it? We don't know. I thought it was a penalty. I really do. And I a red card as well.
Being a ref as I am, it really comes down to, was it a foul or wasn't it? Let's forget penalty. Let's forget red card. The first and foremost decision that he had to make was it a foul? Matt, was it a foul?
I'm going to say no, it wasn't, because it seemed that Bamford caused himself to be tripped up in the way he was obstructing the Liverpool player. He just went down a little bit too easy. So I think it's just been an accidental clash of feet pretty much, and that's what brought him down.
Foul or no foul if we really go down to the basics?
The way Bamford, he was obviously going to shoot, so he's trying to adjust his body, and Lovren's gone over on him, so for me it is...
So you reckon it should have been, whether it was inside, outside, that's another debating point. Was it a pen, was it a free kick? But if it was a foul, it should have been a red card, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Well, if it wasn't a foul, then it should have been a yellow card to Bamford for diving.
Yeah. And one man we really feel sorry for on this show is Dimmy Constantopoulos. Should he have got a game even if it was that final game of the season at Anfield?
Guzan's leaving. He said he's leaving in January. We're down. Why not? Why not give him a go? He's the one who got us here. So, well, for me, yeah, he should have had a chance, just one chance, and that.
It would have been nice, wouldn't it, to give him a big pat on the back and say, thanks for all you did to get us in the Premier League. Now at least you can call yourself a Premier League goalkeeper.
No, definitely, yeah. I just thought it was just unfair, really, that he never got a game in.
Yeah, well, I think all the Boro fans should go down to Dimmy's restaurant and order a decent meal and put some money in his pocket just as a thank you to Dimmy. We will be there if Dimmy actually bothers to return our calls. We'll take the cameras and we'll have a chat with you and give you a plug, mate. Well done. Right, we're going to chat more about the Boro, the season, all that sort of stuff, but not before we've caught up with the latest news and the ongoings around the Boro. Here's Heidi with the news.
Callum Chambers and Alvaro Negredo said farewell to their Boro teammates this week as the players parted for the summer break. Defender Chambers will return to Arsenal while Negredo heads back to Valencia. Keeper Brad Guzan has also made his exit after agreeing a deal with MLS newcomers Atlanta United later this summer. Leeds United boss Gary Monk and Huddersfield Town manager David Wagner are both on Middlesbrough's shortlist of potential candidates for the new head coach role. Boro chairman Steve Gibson is expected to move quickly after promising change at all aspects at the club. Head of Middlesbrough Academy recruitment Ron Bourne is retiring from his role this summer. Ron has decided to call it a day after serving the club for nearly 30 years. He's played a huge part in ensuring Boro has an academy to be proud of and a reputation second to none. And if you have any Boro news you want to share with us, please get in touch. Email studio@redarmy.tv or via social media @Boro Red Army. And back to you, Dave.
Thanks for that, Heidi. Now looking at the season, fellas, Players-wise, who came? I mean, it's been a ridiculously disappointing season. I think we can all admit that. So let's not focus on the negatives. Let's have a look at the positives. Sam, I'll start with you. Players who've come out with a bit of credit. Who would you go for?
Definitely Negredo. Definitely Chambers, Ben Gibson. I'd say Daroon worked his way to the... He's become such a brilliant player this season. Started off a bit slow.
At Anfield. It was weird.
Was he sent up for championship? We don't know. But I thought Clayton was a bit hit and miss this season. Obviously, first season in the Premier League, so he's got to adapt. But there hasn't been many for me that have stood out. No, not really.
Any names you can add, Matt?
I would say Traore was stood out for me.
Yeah.
He played quite well for quite a few of the games this season. It was kind of watching Janini all over again. As soon as he got the ball, zipping through defence.
But no end result?
That was it. They had no one up front to keep passing to, which kind of let it down.
So we've got Gibbo, we've got Valdez.
Valdez, yeah, definitely.
Valdez. Yeah. And so it's a pity there's that clause in his contract if it's true. Because
yeah.
I'd love to have kept hold of him for one more season, even though it was Championship football. Because him with Dimmy as a number 2 would have been fantastic, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely. It certainly boosts the team.
Negredo, you mentioned. Goal scoring. I mean, there was not much more there, was there? I mean, Stuani got a few. I'm really scraping the barrel now to look for real positives other than back line and maybe just wandering into midfield. But is it going to be an area of concern next year? Bamford, Gusted. You fancy that next year?
Yeah.
Or next season, I should say.
Next season, yeah, definitely. They can score goals in the Championship. Bamford's done it for us. I know Gusted could get a few goals next season, definitely, yeah.
I know there's plenty of us scratching our head and wondering where did it go wrong. We've all got our views, of course. But what about the ex-players who've been there and they've done it and they've worn the T-shirt? We caught up with last week David Armstrong, Spike, famous number 11 from the Big Jack era. And we asked him about the Boro and how they'd been performing. And I think he hit the nail right on the head when he just said, simply not enough goals.
We couldn't wait for every game coming along because we knew we had a system that was very, very competitive. We weren't a side that laid down and accepted that we're playing Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham's of this world. We knew we were going to play against them, but we knew we were going to be more than a match for any side that played against us. The system we played was absolutely fantastic. We each knew our strengths and weaknesses of the side, and we worked our socks off for each other. And a lot of teams now are actually playing the way we started to play under Jack Charlton. High pressure, high up the field. Pochettino, for example, at Tottenham, started at Southampton, and you'll see the same sort of work ethic that goes into a side who are very successful, mainly successful, when they do play like that, because you're winning the ball higher up the field. You've got players who can break very, very quickly with a good defensive lineup as well. So it was a real pleasure because we had players who could score goals throughout the whole of the side. Willie and Stewart, who scored goals from set players when we had set players in the opposition's goal areas. Midfield, me, Foggy, of course, Bobby Murdoch and Souness. And then with Hickey and David Mills up front, we were always going to be a threat to every side we played against. And we felt that. We felt very comfortable playing against whoever we played against and never overawed by anybody. We of course, you're going to play against technically probably better sides in general, but we were more than a big test for anybody, and they didn't like playing against Middlesbrough Football Club then.
And I remember those days, Spike Armstrong. We had Cocky on the right, we had Spike on the left, we had Big John Hickton bearing down the middle and taking penalties. He used to run up from the halfway line to take his penalties. Oh, they were the good old days. Right, quick update on the old redarmy.tv Think to Score Boro quiz. It was launched, just over a week ago, and we've got to update you with performances for the past couple of weeks. Got to say congratulations to Harry Lawson. Got it on my phone, you see, but you'll see it on the screen now. Harry Lawson, 54,222. That was the first week we launched, and we thought that was impressive until last week. It reset at midnight on Sunday. Matthew Gale, last week's winner, 69,918, and proof, if proof was needed. Harry, you obviously don't have a life, mate, but well done. Fantastic. It's going to come down another week or so to run, then it'll come down, we'll refresh it in the summer, and we'll be back next season. Right, enough of the quiz. Fellas, we've talked about who shone this season. How about players we need to let go?
For me, I've got to say Barhan's got to go. It's just been I don't want to go into too much of Barron, but it's just been one of those seasons where I have not enjoyed watching him on that pitch at all.
Well, we won't dig too deep then. I mean, we'll look ahead again. We've got another half of the programme to come. But first and foremost, we must put some money in the coffers. It's time for a quick break. We'll chat, fellas, a little bit later after this. Nice ball, isn't it? Look, Julian Dessart, number 16. Carlos De Pena, no number. Kike Garcia, number 9. Those were the days. The days that Boro smashed it. We finished as runner-up, didn't we, in the Championship? Got ourselves back into the Premier League. And I tell you what, we're going to chew the cud mightily in the Dickens Inn this coming Wednesday night. Come and join us, Southfield Road in Middlesbrough, redarmy.tv. Doing the show, we're recording it at the Dickens. You can be part of it. Pint of beer in one hand, Boro chat in the other. Have your say. Come and watch the show Wednesday. Get in there about 6:30. Get your beer in your hand. We'll start recording from 7. Love to see you there. The Dickens Inn and Boro Red Army. Right, let's get into some social media. Some well-known names. Henry Winder, who's the journalist, big football writer, at Boro fans singing Justice for the 96, earning the salute of the whole of Anfield. Apparently 3 sides of Anfield gave us a decent round of applause when we started singing that. Well done, Boro fans. Ben Gibson, the Ben Gibson. Thanks to everyone who supported us this season. You've been incredible and done our town proud. We love each and every one of you. Bob Mortimer. Let's see those little. What does he do? Let's see those fingers. I don't know, something like that, Bob, innit? Weird this. Would like Liverpool to qualify. Proud of Boro, keeping integrity in the league, unlike Atkinson. Thanks, mate. I always understand your tweets. Victoria Gibson, the Victoria Gibson. This time next year, Rodney. What are you telling us, Vicky? We're going to be a big push. We're going to smash it. I hope so. Neil Granger. I think I speak for everyone involved with Middlesbrough Football Club when I say thank. Cough. This season is over, and Bernie Slaven, the Slav, the Wolfman, normally a man of one word, has actually put a few more down. I should have known the outcome. Glad to see the back of this season. I think we were talking about the Liverpool outcome there. Matt, though sits on the couch as a guest, did earlier take another look at your social media. Here he is.
Thanks, Dave. We've got your social media comments this week, and there's a lot of praise for the Boro fans out there. Starting off with Dimmy, he said, when you walk towards the fans and they're all singing your name, even though you haven't played all season, hard to describe that feeling. Thank you. Second up, Rainbow Reds, loud, proud, passionate. The fans absolutely outstanding from the start to finish. Paul McLean, he said, our team has been abysmal this season, but our fans, especially away from home, have been first class. And finally, Tony Wise has just simply said, we'll be back. Keep your social media comments coming into us here at Boro Red Army, and if you want to email them, studio@redarmy.tv. Back to you, Dave.
I'll let you into a little secret. It's not the trick of television. It's not magic. He did do that a little bit earlier, but he's back on the couch now then, Matt, and... yeah, we won't go into the technicalities, how we do that. Fellas, Sam, start with you then. We're going to smash it, apparently. We're going to smash the Championship. That's what our great leader has said. What do we need to do to smash it?
Manager for start, that'd be nice.
What type? Who?
I'd love Gary Monk.
Yeah.
I'd love, just because he's took a mid-table team to fighting for the playoffs, I think his attacking flair is just brilliant, and that's what we've missed this season. We've missed a manager that's want his players to run at defenders and not just hold back and sort of see out a game. You know what I mean?
So we'll give you Monk, right? If Monk comes in, what else do we need to do?
I wouldn't say plenty of signings. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 signings, bit of competition in midfield, a few attacking players, maybe a goalkeeper. I don't know about the backroom staff. Maybe a clear out. I don't know. Probably a fresh start.
It was quite telling, wasn't it, when you start seeing the players spill the beans on things going on in the dressing room, and it was our great second leader, the skipper. It was Ledbetter who turned around and said, the backroom staff, which you've just touched on, when he was injured and he was doing his recovery, hardly ever came in and spoke to him. I mean, that tells wonders. Do we need to make big changes?
Oh, definitely. I think really we do need a kind of an overhaul with the team and with the staff. Things haven't been right since the Karanka incident, Rockcliffe, and I think everyone's been on edge and the boat's been rocked big time, and I think that's obviously shown in this season. So they do need to spend money, do a big overhaul, and prioritise us getting back in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, that was over a year ago, wasn't it, that incident at Rockcliffe? And yet it carried into this season. Yet Ida sits on TV at the weekend and says, oh yeah, 16 of the first team players called me personally and the others sent me all messages about how sad they were for me to leave. Is there a rabbit loose there somewhere, do you think?
It sounds it, doesn't it? Something definitely didn't sound right. But obviously you can't say too much with obviously pressing people jumping on board it.
What about goal scoring? Are we okay in the goal scoring column now for the Championship next season?
I would like to see some more strikers and maybe more midfielders coming in. We definitely that's what we were lacking last season. We were needing someone up front to put the ball in the back of the net, and we just couldn't deliver it all. I think that was our major fall down.
Are you comfortable enough on the strike force, or do you think we need to add to Bamford and Gisted?
Maybe for competition wise, yeah. I think we need another Ramirez, basically. I mean, if
a different one,
obviously, yeah. But if none of this had gone on, I'd have loved for him to stay. But it's tipped Boro fans over the edge, and
well, let's just go kitchen, cash in on that one, because that was a bit of a broken model, wasn't it? It was a bit of a bad one, bit of a lemon buy that you could return hopefully in the shop, but not the case in football. But I mean, Bamford, 20 goal a season man in the Championship. He's proven out what he can score. Yes or a no? Is he going to lead the line for us?
I think he will.
Yeah. Both do, absolutely.
Yeah, really do, yeah.
Probably part of the reason. It's the old conspiracy theory, isn't it, why we signed him? We were planning for the Championship in January. Not the case, I'm absolutely sure. One man who reckons teamwork is going to be the key for the Boro and the success in the Championship. Spike Armstrong. Here he is, second bite to David Armstrong, who came into Red Army and had a chat with us earlier in the week. Come to the modern day. The Boro have just been relegated, of course. Last game of the season is what's upon us at the Riverside. What are your thoughts on obviously them getting there but failing first season?
Well, I came up to one of the early games in the season when they were playing Bournemouth, and they beat Bournemouth fairly comfortably, it has to be said. But I always felt they were going to struggle because they didn't score enough goals. In the Premiership, you need to score at least 2 goals to get any sort of result. And I think with the personnel and the quality that was or wasn't in the side throughout the whole of the season, it was always going to be a struggle. And as it's turned out, it unfortunately has been. A great shame for the supporters, because everybody wants to see the team in the best domestic league in the whole of the world. But you're playing against top quality players who do punish you, and it only takes a split second for them to turn a game round, whoever you're playing against, and that's what's happened this season. They've never had enough quality, and certainly not scored enough goals to get any the results that's been needed. Unfortunately, hopefully, just got to reflect and hopefully turn things around, ready what is in a very, very competitive league, the Championship.
Oh, it always brings back the memories, because I'm an old git, and I remember the Boro doing 73-74 and then 74-75. What a great start we had to the old First Division. It would have been the Premiership this season. You two fellas are far too young to remember such things. In fact, you probably weren't even around.
I was.
You were around.
75, yeah.
Oh, well,
that's when I ventured on the planet.
Then, mate. You don't look that old. Let's go back to managers, because we mentioned them earlier. I mean, just having a look at the latest odds. We've got Jukanovic, Fulham, ex-Watford at 7-2. He's the favourite at the moment. I think that's with Sky Bet. They're the ones who are pushing him. Ryan Giggs 4-1, Nigel Pearson 9-2. Gary Monk 7-1. So he didn't get Leeds up. He didn't get Leeds into the playoffs. But he did a half decent job. But you'd like him to come in.
Yeah, I would.
Attacking manager.
I'd love to see him.
Likes his teams to have a go.
Well, he was 1-2 the other day, and it's gone back to, like, what did you say, 7-1? So
I know, it's weird. It's Andrea, the new owner at Leeds United, who maybe want to keep the man. I don't know, but obviously you've already said you'd fancy him. Who do you fancy coming in?
Do you know what? Someone who can just do the job and goes back up the Premier League. I know Giggs was one of the running favourites, and then obviously Monk's been mentioned earlier this week. I would kind of say Monk would probably be the personal favourite.
And rumoured on the Fly Me message boards, of course, that he was seen at Rockcliffe earlier in the week, but then again, so was Elvis.
He was, yeah. But I think Monk can do a Robson. I think he, obviously, with him being not doing too well at Leeds this year, I think if he got a fresh team, fresh start, I think he could do wonders with the team.
Pardew at 10-1, Aggers at 11-1. I'm surprised Agus is so far out because it's normally the man who's sitting tenant tends to have the bookies' favour basically on the odds, but not the case. Are you surprised?
No, not surprised at all, really. Coach, I'd have him as a coach, yeah. I've heard he's a really, really, really good coach, but manager, we need to get back in that Premier League. We do.
Yeah. Are you not surprised at that?
No,
Those
I'm
odds?
not, no, especially after where...
You think that conversation between him and Gibbo is not going to go well?
Yeah, I don't think it will at all. I mean, I agree. It'd be good to see him back as a coach again, but I don't think he's managerial material at all.
Okay. Do you like a beer?
I love beer.
Not that we're going to have one on the show, of course. You like a,
Don't mind a beer,
You
yeah.
don't mind a quick beer? Beer and Boro chat?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely,
Sounds
so
like a good combination.
Quite like it. Should we do it next week?
Why
Yeah.
not?
How about the Dickens Inn?
Oh, even better.
What the Dickens?
Brilliant.
Even
Wednesday, we're going to be there recording the show as live Wednesday night at the Dickens Inn on Southfield Road in Middlesbrough. It's the place where the Boro fans were the Boro players were on the roof celebrating promotion just a year ago. Promotion to the Premier League. It's not going to happen again, is it? They're not going to be there, but we'll be there. You want to join us? Get yourself down and come and have your say, because we'll have a roaming camera and a roaming mic as well to pick up your views. You coming down, fellas? You
definitely,
yeah.
You coming down? You coming down?
Yep,
Cracking
definitely.
stuff. Thanks for joining us on the sofa. We will catch you next week with a beer on the table. We'll raise a glass to a season that's thankfully finished and a new one that's going to come our way where we're going to be champions. Dickens Inn next Wednesday night.